What's good, y'all? Welcome to an episode of Buzz Boys. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nick Smith. Personally, I think he could be the steal of the draft. He fell all the way down to us at 27. He was a projected lottery pick. He was the #1 player in his class just last year. Going in his freshman year of college in the summer, he had a knee injury, missed the first 19 games of his freshman season. He played the final 17 games, so he missed over half the year, but he did come back to play, which shows that he has heart. He could have easily sat out the entire year, but chose to come back and play. And that's another thing I already like about him. Just it takes that dog in you to go and do that and go and fight with your brothers. He played in the SEC, so he did play against Brandon Miller multiple times. So they dueled it out a couple of times. He had some good games against Alabama. I'm excited about him, man. He's a talented scorer. And as of right now, that is his main attribute. That is what he's bringing to the table. He's a scorer. He can score in bunches. He gets hot. 3-level scorer. He's like that, bro. he's like that. He's somebody that Mitch Kupchak said that they had him at 16 on their big board. So, for the front office, having him at 16 on their mock draft, he's there at 27. It just shows why we took him. He fell. That's somebody who they had basically right there outside the lottery. He falls to us at 27, almost at the end of the first round. Great value. But I'm gonna get into him, his pros. His main pro, he's just a scorer, man. He's a bucket. He's very good at getting downhill, scoring in transition. That's something that he can bring to the table in day one. He does get out and run. I really like the way that he gets into his floater. He's not the biggest guy. He's 6'4", 170 pounds. Something that he does need to work on. He needs to put on some mass, and I will talk about that a little bit later. But just for reference, James Bouknight is 6'4", 190. So Bouknight has 20 pounds on him, even though they're the same height. So that just kind of shows, he's 170. He has a little bit of a slight build. So he does result to the floater. But it's fire. If you watch a lot of his highlights, he's nailing floaters. It's a shot that if you perfect it, it's very hard to stop. So if it's not broke, hey, don't fix it. Keep hitting the floater, because it's something that's going to translate into the NBA, because guys are going to be taller, faster, bigger, and it's hard to block a floater, bro. So, it's a great skill to have as an NBA guard. His three-point shooting is also something that he brings to the table. It's not the craziest of percentages. He shot 34% this year from three. So he's not, crazy sniper, but he still has a good, respectable jump shot with the good mechanics and quick release. And he's somebody, he shot 33% on catch and shoot threes, but it shows promise. It shows promise. At the end of the day, he played less than half his freshman year. Everything is expected to be improved upon. It just gets better with time. It just is what it is. But he definitely showed flashes, and he's somebody who can get hot and have games with 5, 6 threes. His jumper, like I said, good mechanics, good catch and shoot, good on the pull up. He just can get a bucket. #1 in his class for a reason. Like I said, man, he just gets buckets, but nothing. He does more than just get buckets. Even though I know how that sounds, he does more than just get buckets, man. He plays defense. He actually cares about defense, and that's something where I think Mitch Kupchak really targeted in this draft. Because when you look at it, Brandon Miller, two-way player, just as good at defense as he is on offense. Nick Smith, good defender, can hold his own on defense. He can play man. He can move his feet, get steals, play the passing lane, get steals that way. He averages about a steal a game. So got somebody who cares about defense. Like I mentioned in the draft video, it's hard to make somebody care about defense. It's hard to teach defensive tenacity. if you have, you have it. If you don't, you don't. And Nick Smith does. He has the motor. He has the will to play defense. Amari Bailey, the same way, plays defense. Two-way players. Um, you know, guys like Malik Monk, when he was on the Hornets, one of his things, oh, he doesn't play defense. James Bouknight, defense. You know, well, all these guys in this class that we took are guys that can get you a bucket, but at the same time hold their own on defense. They care about it. It's one of their strong suits. And that's definitely something that applies to Nick Smith. Like I said, he plays the passing lane. He gets steals. He can play man. He moves his feet. He can get up, cause pressure in the half court. Like, and that's something that's really big. Something that for a coach like Steve Clifford, that is what is going to get you minutes in the NBA as a young player with a lot of guards on the roster. That is what's going to get you possible minutes, similar to, Martin plays defense. You can do that and you can score. You can carve out a role in this league, man. And he definitely has defensive upside, offensive upside. Um, One thing he's good at, dribble handoffs, hitting the three off the pick and roll as well. He has a quick set shot that he can just use in a variety of situations. And like I said, that translates to the NBA. He has a lot of things that translates directly into the NBA when you watch his film. And, hey, props to the Bradley Beal Elite. Him and Brandon Miller were teammates in AAU. Played for, obviously, Bradley Beal's team. And he got them boys right because, he has the solid mechanics and just the fundamentals. Like, even on defense, he slides his feet, he keeps his hand up, applies pressure to the ball handler, and that's something where it sounds so cliche, like something that you're taught as a young kid by your coach playing basketball, but it's something that when you watch the NBA, a lot of guys don't do. They're not keeping their hands up all the time, trying to deflect passes and all that. They don't do that shit. It's like kind of sometimes the higher the level gets, the more the fundamentals start to get stripped away. Nick Smith, he has fundamentals to his game. He's not the most explosive athlete, even, on offense with the ball in his hands, and that could be contributed, to the knee injury. But he uses fundamentals. He has it instilled in his game. I mean, somebody just commented something crazy on my on my YouTube. I had to beep that. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, I'm really high on Nick Smith. This is somebody who I personally think will be playing in Charlotte. Now, obviously, anybody can get sent down to Greensboro. You don't have to be on a two-way contract to go down to Greensboro, as we saw last year. Kai, JT, Book, McGowns, all these people still went and spent time in the G League. Even Mark Williams. I think maybe Nick Richards even went down to the G League for a little bit. So all these guys, this team is still young. Anybody can go down to the G League at any point. But I do think he will be on our roster and will be getting minutes. I truly do. He likes the mid-range jumper, and like I said, something that translates to the NBA, because NBA defenses will give you that. They will give you that mid-range jumper, and it's something that he's very comfortable with. He likes it. He likes to get into the lane, hit the floater. If he can't get into the lane, he pulls up for the mid-range jumper. He likes to get right there, top of the key, boom, midi, on the elbows, get into the midi. And it's something that is kind of like a lost art in the NBA, but 2 points is 2 points. It's better than zero. Okay, I know some people, they just live and die by the three, but every situation isn't just a 3-point situation. Like, if the three isn't there, if you get ran off the line, you should be able to get right there to the mid-range, get to the elbow, and hit that. Some players just, they don't have that. They don't practice that. They care about the three or dunking. Like, I don't know, it's crazy, but he is somebody who is a mid-range god. But another thing, he scores in bunches, man. Like I said, he can get hot very quick. Even though he only played 17 games this year, he had multiple 20-point games. And as a freshman, you're steady popping off for 20. Goes to show you, like, he's nice, bro. And, his teammate, Anthony Black, number 6 pick, He had NBA talent on his roster. Ricky Council the fourth. I'm trying to think what's bro's name with the alopecia because I actually wanted him. Jordan Walsh. So he had NBA talent out there with him. He missed over half the season and still came back to have an impact on his team as a freshman, missing over half the year. He showed his talent. The stats might not be too crazy. He only averaged 13 points, but 13 points in college is pretty good. As a freshman is pretty good, and surrounded by other NBA talent level players is pretty good. So, yeah, I'm high on this kid as a scorer. Um, Another thing, last but not least, the most important thing, he's clutch. He made some clutch shots against Alabama. Um, he made a few clutch shots this year, and that's something where, as a freshman, he wasn't shying away from the moment. He wants the ball, and he will make it. So I really do, like I said, I expect him to crack this roster, crack this rotation, because he just shows all the traits that you want in a young player. He can score. He's hungry on defense. He wants to be great. He wants the ball. Clutch moments. He checks a lot of boxes. But every player has cons, and that's what I'm about to get into now. Um, Physically, like I said, he is 6'4", 170, and with that, he does sometimes overcompensate using his floater because he shies away from contact. He doesn't want to go in there amongst the trees, which I can't fault him for. Knowing your limitations can be a pro as well. Know what you do well, know what you don't. But like I said, sometimes he does shy away from contact, overly using the floater, overly using the mid-range jumper, trying to avoid getting all the way into the lane with the contact. So that's something that can lead to him not being that great of a rim attacker, not being that great of a finisher around the rim because of his size. He has a slight frame. So that is something where he's going to definitely have to bulk up, get into the lab. And he already does look a little bit bigger. He does look a little bit bigger. Like he has put on some weight since the end of the college season. I'm sure he's been training hard, especially now that he's 100% healthy. I'm sure he's been training to put on more muscle mass because, like I said, he does look a little bit bigger. But as listed, he is currently 6'4", 170. He already looks like he's put on maybe 5 or so pounds. He might be around 180 now. And hopefully he can be somewhere in the 180s when the season starts. I'm not expecting him to, put on 20, 30 pounds of muscle. It's just not realistic. But hopefully he can bulk up a little bit. Another thing, he's a score first guard. So in some league, I'm going to be interested to see who's playing point guard. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Amari Bailey? I'm kind of interested to see that. And that's why I like Summer League, because it's a chance to just throw all your young talent together and just see who can do what on the fly. He can pass. He's not the best passer, though. He's not somebody who averaged 4 or 5 assists in college. He averaged literally like a little under 2 assists, 1.7 assists, 1.6 turnovers. So his turnover to assist ratio is damn near tit for tat. He had 29 assists on the year, 27 turnovers. So it's literally like right there. Yeah, he's not that good of a rebounder either. Only 28 rebounds on the season. He's not somebody that's snagging 4 or 5 rebounds a game as a guard. Primarily, he is a scorer. That is how he's going to get on the floor as the NBA player. He does play defense. He does score. He's not necessarily the best all-around player as of now as far as passing and rebounding, stuff like that. He doesn't foul too much, though. He only had 26 fouls on the year. So, you had more assists, rebounds, all that than he did foul. So he doesn't foul too often. But he is a score-first guard. And, trying to crack in the NBA, everybody can score. You have to be able to do more than score to get real minutes in the league. So he's going to obviously have to develop a little bit more of an offensive game and be able to find open guys and stuff like that if he does want to see the court. Um, Another thing offensively, he tends to over dribble, kind of the same thing I talked about with Brandon Miller. Some things I just attribute to just being a young player. At the end of the day, he played half of his freshman season. He's gonna make mistakes that can just be contributed just being young. At the end of the day, it will get better with time. Over dribbles, can dribble into traffic and just do a little bit too much. Like I said about Brandon Miller, it just is what it is. I already talked about the way he avoids contact, but another thing, he bites on a lot of pump fakes defensively, and I like that because he has defensive tenacity, like I talked about earlier. He has defensive tenacity, but too much of anything can be a bad thing. And yeah, he bites on a lot of pump fakes. Sometimes his feet is just too overactive, get shifted easily because he's just too riled up on defense and can easily get out of position, which is why you got to stay to your fundamentals. Um, on offense, he sometimes can get stuck in the air, and this is stuff that you see in the NBA. Guys will jump, they think somebody's open for a pass, they're not. It results in a turnover, and that's something that Nick Smith does. Something that Brandon Miller had in his film too. Just young player stuff where you just leave the floor with no real plan of what you're gonna do with the basketball. You're not thinking about shooting. You're trying to pass it. Nobody's even really open. It's just something where it's just a blunder. But it's something that he does do sometimes. Um, Another con, man. Like I said, with his size, he does struggle to switch. When he gets switched on to bigger um, players, he kind of gets cooked easily, which is something where Brandon Miller, he's 6'9". We're looking at him, okay, you can play the 2, the 3, the 4 from day one, maybe, and be able to switch these positions defensively. With Nick Smith, I think he kind of is just a pure 2 right now, at least in my opinion. Um, I don't think he has the vision to play point guard. I don't see it. In my eyes, I do think he is a kind of a pure 2. Um, Still, it wouldn't surprise me if we try him at point guard in summer league and see if he can do it. Um, but yeah, I think he's gonna struggle trying to guard anything more than a 2. I don't see him being able to guard threes and damn near not fours in the league right now. It's just something where he gets matched up with bigger guys. It's a bucket, especially if it's in the post. It just is what it is. Um, Also, his free throw shooting could use work. He only shot 74% from the line, and that's something. I mean, as a guard, you want your guard to be a good free throw shooter. I mean, Brandon Miller, for example, 86% at the free throw line. So 74% clip. You want that to be higher. You always want your guards to be 80s, shit, 90s if possible from the free throw line. So that's something that could use work. And like I said, things that will all get better by him just being out there at the end of the day, played less than half of his freshman year. He's going to have to work on some stuff. He's going to have to be in the gym, which he literally is. He just posted a picture a few hours ago in the gym. He's working. So that's something that I'm not even worried about with him. I definitely think he can be a great player. The last con, like I said, I don't like give too many cons and make a player sound bad because he's good, but gotta give the good, the bad, the ugly. It is what it is. He struggles to pass out of the pick and roll. I already talked about it. He's not that great of a passer, so he's gonna have to get better at that. Can he read defenders? Can he make the right play? Sometimes he's a little bit late trying to make reads, trying to make passes, and that window was gone. You have to time everything right. If you're half a second slow, if you and your teammate are in perfect sync, that ball is going the other way and it's going to go get dunked. So, you know, there's that. But at the same time, he does the same thing on defense. He shoots passing lanes and he takes advantage of that as well. So, hey man, it is what it is. My grade for Nick Smith, I'm torn. I'm torn, man. I want to say I'm gonna say A minus. I'm giving him an A minus. Spoiler alert: if you didn't watch the Brandon Miller video, go watch the Brandon Miller video. To see his draft grade, it's similar. Um, I'm torn between A minus and B plus. With Brandon Miller, I was leaning more towards A. Um, the reason that I'm at A minus is because the value. Um, Number one player in the class, you can get somebody who was just number one just a few months ago at 27. Historical value, honestly. I expect this kid to be great, um, and be able to crack this rotation, like I said. But also, he does have his limitations. At the end of the day, when you play half a freshman season, you're coming out pretty raw. You're not very far removed from high school at the end of the day. You're missing the live game reps that make you a better player. So, I'm expecting him to come in and make mistakes. It just is what it is. Um, the reason I'm teetering towards B plus a little bit is because, like I said, his size, um, can't switch a lot defensively. He is a good defender, for his position. But he's not that great of an all around player yet as far as passing and rebounding and all that other stuff. So that's kind of why I'm teetering towards B plus. But the value that we got is tremendous. So I'm going with A minus just because if we would have passed on him, it would have been stupid. It would have been stupid to pass on him. So I am gonna say A minus. Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that because, like I said, the value is tremendous. Him and Cam Whitmore steals of the draft. I definitely think that he could easily be the steal of this draft. We look back in 3 years, 4 years, and just be like, how the fuck did he fall to 27? I could definitely see that happening. So I'm very happy with this draft class. I'm very happy with Nick Smith Jr. I can't wait to see what he does in summer league. Um, he's somebody who I expect to definitely push Book Night very far, um, this year because it's like they have similar builds, um, similar games, and it's just like Book, your replacements right there in your face at the door. Not to mention Amari Bailey. Um, we brought in a few shooting guards this year, so I'm expecting to see a lot out of both of them in summer league because somebody's right there trying to take your spot. How are you gonna respond? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate you guys showing me love, man. um the Brandon Miller video right now has been up for like 2 hours already at 200 something views. The draft video is already at like almost 3,000 views in a day. So I really appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, if you're new, whatever, I don't care. Hit that notification bell so you can see when I drop a new video because I have plenty of content dropping this week. I'm going to continue my NBA draft grade series. We still have two more people to go. I got to do Najee and I got to do Amari Bailey. I'm going to try to knock both of those out tonight so I can be done and start to focus on Summer League because it will be here before you know it. For NBA free agency will be here before you know it. So I just want to get my draft stuff over with. But like I said, got a lot of content dropping. Summer League, California Classic, July 3rd. Vegas Summer League, July 7th. Like I said, a lot of content, a lot of stuff to talk about. And yeah, man, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.